Hello guys, Phil here, Digital DJ Tips with the Rokit 6 speakers from KRK. I want to talk to you about them and whether they are the right fit for your DJ studio. So, who's going to buy a speaker like the Rokit 6? Well, let's have a look at it. I've got a pair of them set up here. We've been playing with them for a couple of weeks. And here is one of the KRK Rokit 6 speakers. Who's going to buy them? Well, they're made for people who want to upgrade from maybe using, standard hi-fi speakers or, you can get some really good computer speakers nowadays with subwoofers and satellites and so on. And that's what a lot of DJs start with, and that's absolutely fine. You start with what you've got. But at a certain point, you're going to start thinking, you know what? I want decent sound. I want it to go loud. I want a decent bass thump. I want it to be warm, and I want it to be a bit truer to what the original recordings sound like. It helps you when you're making mixtapes, helps you when you are, doing radio shows and so on, but also it helps you when you start to dabble in producing, when you start to do your own re-edits and your own remixes, you start to mess with software like Ableton and so on, you start needing to have better quality sound. And before you say, yeah, but I'll just buy some really good headphones can get very weary, and also if you're DJing, you're actually doing a DJ mix, it's not how you DJ. You DJ with monitor speakers and headphones, using your headphones for cueing and so on. So for all those reasons, DJs tend to want at some point to upgrade. And this is a really good choice for an entry-level speaker. It's entry-level because they're not that expensive, a couple of $100 each, they're sold separately, will get you set up, but they give 95% of the transparency and the true sound quality that you get from much more expensive studio monitors, much more expensive in the KRK's own range, but also in other ranges. So I've immediately touched on one of the minus points of these. They are not fully transparent, true sound. You ask an audiophile or a studio engineer what these sound like, and they'll say they're good, but they're not true to the original sound. If you want to produce high-end production with them, spend twice, 3 times the amount per speaker and get something that really is perfect. DJs don't tend to want that. DJs tend to take finished material and do something clever with it. Someone else has spent the time and money monitoring that material, hopefully they have anyway, and making it sound great on inexpensive studios. You're there just to do something clever with it. This is going to get you there. So for 95% of DJs, this is going to get you where you want to be. One of the other downsides of these speakers is, well, let me explain to you how they work. What happens is that they are both independent. So this one and that one over there are both, they've got their own power supplies on the back. So here we go, look, see there's a power supply there. They've got their own on-off switch. They've got their own controls. So you've got an input here for balanced XLR, balanced TRS and unbalanced RCA. They've got their own volume control, and they've got, in this instance, they've got a high frequency tail off, which just tweaks the high frequency, and a low frequency tail off does the same thing, just to give you a tiny boost or a tiny reduction to suit your room. Positioning is really important with these. So that's how they work. There's an amplifier built in. They're completely independent of each other. That's how monitor speakers do work. That's what monitor speakers are. It's a purist approach for the benefit of sound quality. Keep everything isolated. And in fact, these are bi-amped. That's one of the differences, I think, anyway, between these and the original KRKs, is that these have got 2 amplifiers in, one for the tweeter and one for the woofer. So that's what they are. They're power monitors. But what you can find nowadays, especially for people, say you're working in a little studio that doubles up as your relaxation room, your bedroom basically, and you've got your stereo in there, you've got your games console in there, whatever, and you want to put everything into the same speakers. Well, you can do that with these. But there's a bit of wiring involved, and also you've got independent volume controls, independent on-offs and so on. So what some speaker manufacturers have done is take this monitor concept of having an amplifier in each speaker, and here's a good example. These are some speakers that we've used a lot, the Reloop Wave 5s. So these are very similar, much smaller by the way than the KRK 6s. And they've got the same kind of controls on the back, but they also come with this remote control bit, and that gives you one of these. Little remote control. It's got a couple of knobs on it, volume control. You sit this on your desk and you can switch between all the inputs, turn the speakers on and off, mute them, adjust the volume and so on. That's useful. That's useful if you're going to genuinely use your speakers for lots of things. And the KRKs, as with most monitor speakers, don't have that. So that would be the other objection if you're a DJ moving up into wanting good speakers, but also thinking, you know what, I want to easily turn my games console on, I want to easily turn this on and get that going through them as well. Maybe not quite as good a choice for that respect as well. So I want to give you a few of the differences between these and the original KRK, or the KRK Generation 2s. So the Generation 2s have got 4 screws here to hold this bit in. This hasn't. They look very, very similar otherwise. They're not bi-amplified as far as I know. They've still got the big front port. This is a bass port at the front, just give a bit of thump to the bass. And curiously, there's no fuse here. There is an external fuse on the KRK RP6 G2s. There isn't an external fuse here. I don't really know what that is. Apart from that, they're strikingly similar. So, my assessment of them, if you want decent sound, you don't want to pay a massive amount for it, you want to move up to studio monitors, you want to dabble in production, and you want a stepping stone into possibly or possibly not in a few years' time, you know, investing in true pro gear. For all those reasons, these are awesome. They've even got a limiter in them which will stop the sound getting distorted when you turn it up loud. Now, I would never recommend you use speakers like this in parties and so on, but if you were to, it's nice to know that's there. It'll give you half a chance of them still working at the end of it. So there you go, KRK Rokit 6 G2s, RP6 G2s, RP rocket powered, get it? The full review of these, as ever, is over on digitaldjtips.com. Thank you for watching.